you have to keep going. This video is for people who are either in need of motivation to keep going, or maybe feel lost with the route that you're currently taking. So where I base a lot of this is to do with the reselling side of things, but through the self-efficiency of being your own boss and being your own person. Being it somebody who's trying to be a content creator, be a vintage seller, just sell anywhere on the internet, or be your own boss. Keeping going is one of them things that you have to instill into your mind, because keeping going, just to sort of simplify the breaking down of it, is looking at the way momentum is created. Things like momentum are created by lots of force and impact being put on them, and as a result they eventually start moving without the need of that much push. And keeping going is a little bit just like seeing it as your motivation via your momentum. When I've been building the brand that I did for years, keeping going was one of the things that I had to look at. But I guess the real root of it is looking at when you doubt that thought that you have that says keep going. Like, what are the conversations that you have in your head when you say to yourself keep going? What's that internal voice doing? Is it saying, no, you're not very good at this, no, there's other people that are doing it better, you're not made for this, you're not cut out for this? Whatever it is, it doesn't exist outside of your mind, because it's only a thought in your mind. It only becomes real when you speak it out loud. Keeping going was something that I had to just unconditionally have for the businesses that I've encountered, embarked on, and the process for what I had. Keeping going was closing a business and then opening a whole new identity to it, still being in the same place of work, trying really hard not to romanticize the past of what was, and really look hopeful to the present of what is now and make that the most. But keeping going is something hard. Maintaining something when the results aren't how you want them isn't easy, because you're in your mind about it. But I want this video to serve as a purpose for anybody who's feeling lost, for anybody who's feeling like they are struggling and feeling like they're not quite connecting with what it is that they're trying to connect with. For me, one of the biggest things in order to keep going is the consistency. So consistency, showing up each day regardless of what the previous day's outcome was. Some days during the business that I was running before, we might have had days of having 100 sales, and then the next day having 50. That mindset has to be the same on the 50 days, 50 sales to the 100 sales. You can't spike too much of an influx of like motivation, because it will get burnt out when you have a low day. But that consistency helps balance the whole situation out. I was watching a podcast yesterday with in Modern Wisdom with Alex Mosesi, and I've probably said his name wrong. And one of the points he mentioned, and something to keep in mind, especially with the keeping going, something that helped me very much in the recent days, is he said, if you put out a piece of content and nobody sees it, why are you worrying? It doesn't matter if nobody saw it. If it wasn't a good video, nobody sees it anyway. That's the most unpoetic way of what he said, and me transcribing it back, but I think you get the gist. And keeping going is the same. If you have a day where the results aren't how you want them, it's just a day where results weren't how you wanted them. It doesn't mean that you're never going to be discoverable by people, or that you're never going to sell that product that you desire to. It just means that today wasn't the day that it was going to be. And I think that you've got to sit there and be aware in them moments of when it doesn't connect with how you want it to connect. When you have a day where you have 0 sales, where you have a day where everything's against you, the camera's not working, you've not got that persona or that feeling that you want when you're making content, or you're not in a good space to be around anybody, so you're not going to be good and useful to anybody else. You've got to be aware in them moments, and you've got to sit still in maybe that confusion of chaos, really, because it's less about chaos and it's like, what's going on? Now, to just navigate back to this, I want this video to serve as a purpose to anybody who needs help keeping going. I ran a business to a point of turning over £1 million a year. And over the course of a few years of consistently doing £1 million a year, I dipped to about 500. And then we dipped even lower to a point where each month was half of the previous one. I got offered at the time of the closing the business to walk away from it, or to try and work on it and accept what happened there and rebuild something new. And I chose to rebuild. And that internal voice of keep going was what allowed me to focus on that avenue. Like, I've really instilled a discipline with the keep going. It's non-negotiable. And you have to normalize non-negotiable things that you're going to do. Is going to the gym non-negotiable? Is having 2 litres of water non-negotiable for you? What is it? These are the sort of things that you want to vocalize with the internal state. Be forthcoming with these decisions. The reason why I wanted to do a bit more of a mindful approach today is just that I've had a bit more of a go with the flow day. I could have done a lot of different bits of work today, and I could have put much better use of my time into different things. But I chose to live today out a little bit more freely and with a bit less care to what was going to happen. Doesn't mean I didn't care for the day, but I had to live in this moment. And sometimes that balance is key for the keep going. Because with reselling, with content, with anything, it's putting out a product and then expecting something straight away. So to really understand keeping going, you have to normalize a much more subdued expectation of whatever it is you're doing. You made a video and you thought it was going to get 1,000, 2,000 views and 10 people saw it. Keep going. You uploaded 20 products on Vinted and eBay and Depop and you've sold none of them in a week. Keep going. Why? Because you become resilient against all these different levels of competition, coupled with the fact that if you struggle with the mindset of keep going, how many others are having that exact same thought? And the reality of it is, guys, is that if everybody doubted whether they were doing something right or not, they would all leave that industry very quickly, whatever it is. And those that continue to be consistent and maintain that resilience to it will just clean up more sales as a result of your giving up nature, maybe. I don't want to say that. I don't think it's about giving in or giving up. It's about normalizing an expectation with what you do. It's about keeping in a good level with everything. You know, like, keeping going to me is working in a multitude of different capacities. Like, keep going is just being aware that everything else around you is going to just keep happening as a result of anything anyway. But the only thing you can do is just maintain. Being still in the chaos. Being here, being present, being aware. You know, people are around. Everything's going on. Life is happening. And I think that's the minute that we take ourselves away from the thing we do and we look about too many different things. Somebody walking past there could have knocked me off of my flow because I'm aware of somebody else walking. In the same way, you might struggle to keep going because your competition has just uploaded 20 products and they've just put up a social media post saying, oh my God, 10 sales. Comparison is the thief of joy. Focus on yourself. Believe in yourself. Keep going. That's all I got to say. And I hope this video finds you well. And if it was meant for you, then engage with it somewhere. And if it wasn't, respectfully, keep it moving. And I appreciate you for taking the time to watch it, whether it was valuable to you or whether it was pointless. Take care of yourself. And I'll see you on a video or two. Yeah. Keep going. I believe in you.